We're here at Canadian Music Week, and I'm with John Roberts from American Morning on CNN. And John, of course, used to be JD back in the day.
Yeah, to some people I still am. My girlfriend calls me JD.
And as part of American Morning, you have what's called the American Morning playlist. And I get up and I watch CNN every morning. So I always watch you in my bathrobe. Sorry. And I've always wondered, where does the music come from?
I'll keep that in mind the next time.
Where does the music come from?
Well, there's no official playlist. I mean, we just call it a playlist. Basically, what we do is we started this out a little more than a year ago, I guess. We wanted something to spice up, going to commercial break, coming out of commercial break. It kind of lifts the whole energy of the thing. And initially, we were tailoring a lot of the songs to a theme, so that if you were talking about changes to credit card legislation, David Bowie's "Changes" was a great song to come out with. And it didn't take long for Jon Stewart at The Daily Show to figure out what we were doing and do a big send-up of it. So we try to be a little more subtle now. Sometimes the music that we pick is just because either myself or my co-anchor Kieran or one of the other members of the crew or the producer who's lining up that hour likes it. Sometimes we'll try to get things that have a little bit of a theme. But we went a little too far. David Bowie's "Changes" was being used for changes to anything and everything that happened. But it was when we played "Rock You Like a Hurricane," when there was a hurricane warning up for Key West, that
I remember that morning, as a matter of fact, and I'm thinking, who picked that one?
And that's when Jon Stewart got a hold of it and said, I think they're going a little bit too far. But as I said, we're a little more subtle, a little more creative now. But it's a lot of fun. And it keeps me connected back to the days of my youth.
If you watch it, you begin to pick up some patterns. A lot of Coldplay fans in the crew, obviously.
Yeah, but I think we've kicked Coldplay out of the playlist.
Okay, and U2 fans too.
Oh yeah, well definitely. I'm a huge U2 fan, so you can never play enough U2.
So,
but the guy, the producer who was the Coldplay fan, has left to go work for the University of Massachusetts. So that's probably why you're not hearing much Coldplay.
Because Viva La Vida was on there a lot.
It was.
Okay. You have an iPod, obviously.
I have an iPod and I have an iPhone that has an iPod on it as well.
So you must still be a music fan, obviously.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So what are you listening to now?
I'm listening to a lot more country than I ever used to listen to, and this is really ironic because my very first job at CFOS in Owen Sound, one of the things I had to do was a 2-hour 8 p.m. country show. And I didn't like the music at all, and I was kind of like holding my nose, spinning the records. And the country from those days, Conway Twitty, people like that, I really didn't like, I really didn't relate to. But the new type of country, which blends rock sensibilities with some of the old ways of doing things, back to the George Jones days and Johnny Cash and things like that, I really, really like that. I'm a huge fan of Keith Urban. And I'm a huge fan of Keith Urban not just because he's a great singer and an amazing performer. And I've seen him in concert a couple of times, he's terrific, but he's an amazing guitarist. And it's fun for me as an amateur guitarist to try to learn some of those guitar parts. So I'm a huge fan of Keith Urban. I also like Kenny Chesney. Dierks Bentley has got a couple of really good songs. I'm friends with a guy who just wrote a new song for Billy Currington. That's how country boys roll. So country's kind of, the older I get, the more I appreciate country. But it's the fact that it's a new type of country. It's not the old country.
Maybe it's living in Atlanta for so long too. I mean, you're going to be surrounded by that kind of stuff.
I'm mostly in New York. I was in Virginia for a while too, in Atlanta. But it's just, it doesn't matter where I am. I like the feel of country music. But really, it was sort of when Keith Urban came along. That's what really turned it for me. My girlfriend insists I have a man crush on Keith Urban. It's not a man crush, but I do appreciate his musicality and his talent.
Appreciate the time. Thank you for coming up. You had a great interview with Slash in front of everybody here at Canadian Music.
It was terrific. He was really up for doing it, which I was really happy to see because doing the new music for so many years and working at Much Music, I don't know how many people I interviewed that really didn't want to be sitting there and didn't want to say anything. And for him to open up the way he did, I thought was really terrific. He came to talk, and that was pretty obvious.
He sure did. That interview could have gone on for a lot longer, and I think everybody in the audience would have sat through anything that he once said.
Yeah, I was thinking about, do we get more technical with it? Talk about song structure, how he develops his riffs, how he develops a lead solo, that type of thing, or do we talk about the personal things? And he didn't have a guitar there. And if he'd had a guitar, then it would have changed the whole tone of things, because we could have got him to talk about the technicalities of music. But I think going with the personal thing, given the setting, was probably good. I think that's what he came to do too.
Well, thank you again.
Good
to meet you.
Great to see you.
And we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, thanks.